Some of us do our best thinking seated on our porcelain throne. At times, the toilet can be the most peaceful place in the house. It wasn't too long ago that the toilet wasn't part of a home. The invention of indoor plumbing and the humble commode paved the way for the creation of cities found around the world. Let's take a look at how the toilet helped shape civilization as we know it. As it turns out, Thomas Crapper did not invent the toilet, and yes, that really was his name. Rudimentary toilets have been discovered as far back as 10,000 years when people started living closer together. Poop very quickly became a problem. Waste was kept in chamber pots until people were able to dispose of it outside of city limits. The ancient Egyptians had rudimentary toilet facilities, but not as we know them now. Their toilets were basically holes cut in wooden seats, but if you were lucky and rich, you got to sit on an indoor throne with a limestone top located over a sand pit. Lucky you! Credit for the earliest flushing toilets go to both the civilizations that sprung from present-day Pakistan and the Minoans from the island of Crete. Academics claim that nothing came close until the time of the Romans. The Romans turned restroom visits into a communal affair. It was not uncommon to be seated right next to a fellow Roman discussing the politics of the day while taking care of personal business. These facilities were stone benches with a series of holes and no individual separators, allowing for better conversations while on the commode. Anything dropped into these toilets would be carried away by a constant flow of water. Similar arrangements were spread throughout the Roman Empire so that everyone could join the party. As empires rise and fall, so did the toilet and plumbing system of the Romans. Medieval Europe went back to the ways of the chamber pot. Although there were some public toilets built over the River Thames, some homes still threw the contents of their chamber pots onto the streets. The wealthy and royal people had it slightly better, however. If they lived in castles, there were small portions of the building that jutted out slightly with a hole in the floor that allowed royal excrements to fall into a moat below. Certainly, it wasn't the most pleasant smelling time in history. Remember Thomas Crapper? He was actually hired by Prince Edward in 1861 to build restrooms in several palaces. Although he didn't create the flushing toilet, he was the first to display his patents in a showroom. Thomas and a few of his contemporaries continued producing toilets similar to the models we know of today. However, the flushing toilet was actually invented in 1596 by Sir John Harrington, but they didn't become popular until 1851. That's about 200 years of unrealized poop potential. The late 1800s saw the usage of tanks that were set high on the bathroom wall. At the time, the height of the water tank was what flushed any undesirables from the bowl. By the early 1900s, toilets evolved into the low tank models that we currently have in our homes. This means the stately toilet has not changed much in over 100 years. Is the Game of Thrones really over? Penicillin, electricity, computers. Would any of these even have been considered if we didn't have toilets keeping disease at bay? How much do you think we owe to the porcelain gods? Maybe a better question would be, would you trade the toilet for any other modern convenience? Let us know your thoughts below.